For me, music is just integral to pretty much every aspect of my life.
Music for me is everything. My family will tell you, there's hardly a moment goes by that I'm not listening to music.
I think music's all about like collaboration and just having a good time and seeing what you can perfect together.
It's like a language that can be spoken to people without understanding a word, but that it can create emotion from people.
You know, songs can take everything that you're feeling or everything that you're thinking, and just you hear a song and you're like, that's it. That's what's in here.
And that really motivates me because I really look forward to the next day and being like, all right, here's my to-do list. I'm excited to get these projects done because they're all pretty much music-related things. Enthusiastic.
Energetic, I would say.
A lot of energy.
High energy, he just is always go, go, go.
His stage presence is just unrivaled. He'll go up there and do anything, you know.
He'll put a set together and he'll deviate from that as he feels necessary based on what he's observing.
He invests a lot and is very excited about pretty much everything that he does, and that includes his own music and working on stuff with the band and writing new tunes and learning about all these different styles of polka music.
I think Tom just really brings just an energy to the music.
My name is Thomas Saracki, but I'm more commonly known as Captain Tom. I'm a musician / entertainer. Captain Tom and the Hooligans is what I like to call a modern rendition of old world tradition. I saw what groups like Dropkick Murphys, Flogging Molly, the Pogues had done for like Irish music and almost taking it and putting in like modern elements of like punk or punk rock and turning into this huge thing and making people like, you know, proud of their heritage. It's a pretty broad spectrum of the music we play, whether it be straight polka or what I like to call alternative polka that we kind of do, or Irish and Celtic music, or just old-timey drinking songs, brass band to do some jazz standards every once in a while. Dad, Commodore Dave, he does quite a bit actually, both on stage and off stage. He's helping us with our sound, our lighting, he's helping us get to gigs, he's driving and bringing all the equipment with him, and then during the gig he'll hop on stage and he'll start playing along with us too.
My name is Dave Saracki. And with regards to Captain Tom and the Hooligans, I am Captain Tom's father. I am also a musician. In the band I play clarinet and saxophone.
I knew Tom since high school, obviously, but I feel like we started connecting a little bit more when I started joining the band, and I met him here again at the open mic, just as anyone would, I guess. I think I've been in the band for 3-4 years now, something like that, but we've been playing all over the place.
Tom and I had both played with someone else who does kind of folk stuff, and I think we both knew him and also knew someone else who played in that band. He was playing with Captain Tom and maybe recommended me to Tom. I also saw that he was maybe looking for fiddle for something on Facebook, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to play polka. Like, I would love to learn polkas. That's an area of music that I really don't know like a ton about, and of course I like learning all types of folk music.
My kids were in school at Depew High School, and I asked the music band leader if he knew anybody that might be interested in learning polka music and playing in a polka band. And the first name that he threw out almost immediately was Tom Saracki.
Polish Pride was a band that I was in, and that was with Carl. Carl, our trumpet player, got us into that.
You know, I kind of talked to Tom. He came and played with us for a little bit, and then he started Captain Tom and the Hooligans. And from the time that they started, every now and then Tom would call me up and just say, hey, are you interested in playing with us? Are you interested in playing with us? And I eventually gave in, and it's been a blast ever since.
As a kid, when he was very young, I would say he was a little bit on the mischievous side. Had a lot of energy, but other than that, fairly typical.
I remember just like being around music for forever. I don't know if it's some sort of connection I have with with music, but then besides that, my parents are very musical. I guess the first music I remember is probably them playing, and they have always had this family almost bluegrass band, so that was one of my earliest memories of music, as well as them taking me to hear all sorts of different music growing up. There's like Irish music or folk music, polka music, whatever it was.
I started him on trumpet lessons when he was 10 years old. I would call him an average trumpet student. Struggled to get him to practice usually. And as he got older and progressed through middle school and went into high school, I gave him more or less the option of, do you want to continue this or not? He got interested in performing in the high school musicals. It was, I think, his love of being an entertainer more than a musician or anything like that. And as time went on, he really did excel with that. He had lead roles all 4 years that he was in high school. I picked up a double bass that we had in the house, and I was playing with him and encouraged him to go to things like open mics. And eventually he started to do that, and he kind of separated away from me, and he was doing all that on his own. And as time went on, he got together with a handful of his high school friends and wanted to form a band. And he asked me what would be a good name for our band, and I gave him a few suggestions, which he promptly dismissed, and suddenly came back to me and said, we're going to call it Captain Tom and the Hooligans. And I thought, it's catchy. It may work.
Captain Tom and the Hooligans was created, let's see, probably I think 2018 or 2019 time frame, when I had always known for a long time I wanted a band of my own to perform and stuff like that. And eventually one day I had some friends together and I said, hey, who wants to form a band? We figured out the Captain Tom and the Hooligans name at that point. Like I said, we'd been going to that open mic for a little bit. We figured out all the details. Originally, the band name was Tom and the Boys. And it was a bit of a joke because I would just play with one other person. So I go, I'm Tom, he's the Boys. And we would just go from there. And then it became Captain Tom due to an inside joke, which ended up sticking around. My friend said, what about the Hooligans? And I said, that's a great one. So it became Captain Tom and the Hooligans. And at one point we thought about changing it, but I'm glad we didn't.
There is a term that's used in music with regards to bands, and that's called tightness. And what that simply means is that the entire band knows exactly how the tune starts, how the tune ends, when you go from one part to another, who's taking the solo when. And when you actually watch a band doing it, there's no confusion. There's not like, me, him, who. Yeah. When you're on stage, when you see that going on, that takes away from the tightness of the band.
I guess when you got a show coming up, you're just constantly in the mindset of like, oh, the show's coming up. I guess preparing for it mentally, just being ready to, get out there, entertain, and make sure things don't go wrong as much as possible. I mean, that's just from a technology standpoint, just making sure you bring everything to the show, which is, of course, probably the most important, and then making sure you're fully there on stage as well. I make a set list, but we don't really follow it. It's what does the crowd need right now, and what are we going to give to them? And then there's other times of I'm like, I'm not going to give the crowd what they want right there. I'm going to give them what they need. And when everyone in the bar or crowd or wherever is singing along and dancing to a song, it's like nothing else. Just the human experience.
I see big things on the horizon.
He's been looking into some festivals lately.
We would definitely like to get into some of those festivals and really take our music to that next level where we're not just this little, group from Cheektowaga, Buffalo area.
Coachella, Riot Fest.
Short term, we talk about playing in Rochester, that's the next step, or crossing the border and playing in Toronto.
I don't see any reason for it to really slow down at this point. I think with his perseverance, it'll last, and for quite a while now. I can see it certainly going for at least another decade, sure.
He's so young, and everyone in the band is pretty young. And the fact that they're already this successful, I think the trajectory is very quickly escalating.
I guess we'll just keep playing, we'll keep having a good time, and every time we want to introduce something new, we're just going to go for it. I guess that's one of the biggest messages, is you just got to go for it.
Polka music and any kind of folk music is just easy. It speaks to kind of where you're at.
The music's just like raw emotion. The artist may not be remembered in a few hundred years or a few thousand years. These songs survive forever, yet people still end up singing the songs.
It's wonderful to go to a expensive restaurant and have a phenomenal 7-course meal, right? But day after day, sometimes you want to just sit down and have a ham sandwich, and that's kind of what folk music is. And I don't want to put it out like folk music is like a ham sandwich, but it's sometimes you just want that simplicity.
I think it is that it gives a sense of identity. People feel connected. They want to be connected to their heritage a lot of times, and music is a really big way that people connect to their heritage.
Folk music in general, I think, is just of the people. It really is, and it's just kind of folk music is stuff that you can just sit on the couch in your living room and play. And you don't necessarily need a lot for it. You can just grab an instrument and just start playing.
And that's why so many people love to go out on St. Patrick's Day and Dingus Day and Oktoberfest. That's why music is a big part of any holiday celebration like that, is because people want to feel connected to the heritage, and that's an important way to do
Thank you. I love you too.